Hello all, and good day to everyone out there. This is Roger here, of course, the creator of Dungeon Crusade and with Grubus Games Unlimited, and I hope everyone is doing awesome today and enjoying the weekend. It's nice to be back here with you for our next video in the Spotlight video series, where we will be going over the Guardian phase of a churn. And of course, I want to thank you for your time and interest in checking out Dungeon Crusade, and I hope you're enjoying the Spotlight series on the game and getting more acclimated to it and its gameplay. I really love creating these videos and spending some time here with you and discussing the game. As I've been saying, we are going to be entering into mass production come April, but rest assured there are many more videos on the way for you to enjoy so you can learn more about the game. There is an active pledge manager for Dungeon Crusade, and I left a link for you in the description section if you would like to see the 3 editions of Dungeon Crusade available and a few add-ons being offered at this time. We are going to leave the pledge manager open for as long as possible for everyone, considering what's transpiring right now with the COVID-19 situation, so late pledging is still possible. We will be sending out many reminders of when the pledge manager will be locked down. So in a prior video, we were going over the encounter phase, which is the second phase at the start of a churn. So now we will be going over the Guardian phase that follows directly after the encounter phase. The Guardian phase is when a Guardian has a possibility of spawning into the dungeon. Consider a Guardian monster in Dungeon Crusade like the boss monster. Guardians are very tough, and it is recommended for a player or players to rally heroes together to take down the Guardians of the dungeon. Before we get into the game mechanic, let's take a look at each of the 8 Guardians of the game. And just like all of the other monsters and creatures in the game, I wrote origin stories for each of the 8 Guardians. The origin stories can be found on each of the Guardians' level 1 monster card. The Guardians in Dungeon Crusade are Dreadthorn, Horus, Red Widow, Banevik, Razorfang, Nefarion, Lord Blackhand, and the toughest monster in the game, Magmus. Let's take a look at the Guardian spawn track. This is the Guardian spawn track. Notice how it goes from 20 to 11. When selecting a scenario, a player can set any value they would like. You can even set it lower for more of a challenge. By setting it lower, there's a greater chance a Guardian will spawn into the dungeon. Remember when we were looking at the Guardians per quest table in a prior video? Here's where you will set just how many Guardians will spawn into the dungeon per quest table. There is also an entry for the Guardian spawn track. Going back to the Guardian spawn track, at the start of the Guardian phase, a player will roll 1d20. If the result is equal to or exceeds the value where the red marker token resides, a Guardian will spawn into the dungeon. If the result is lower than where the red marker token currently resides, a player will move the token down by 1 and immediately move into the next phase of the churn, which is the hero phase. Let's take a look at how a Guardian spawns into the dungeon. First, you're going to draw from the appropriate Guardian deck. We can see that Red Widow will be spawning into the dungeon. Notice throughout the entire dungeon that there are these evil-looking green globes with numbers within them from 1 to 8. These are known as spawn locations. A player will now roll 1d8. The result is a spawn location where Red Widow will spawn into the dungeon. And hopefully this doesn't interfere with the planning and strategy you laid out in the upkeep phase. Remember, anything can happen within the dungeons of Dungeon Crusade. At the end of the Guardian phase, a player will move the red marker token down by 1. If the token is moved to 11, it stays there until Celebration Day begins. At that time, it resets to the value that was determined when setting up the scenario. In closing, consider all of the options here when looking at the Guardian spawn track and Guardians per quest table in the scenario book. Just with these two game mechanics, you can create some interesting things that can happen within the dungeon. And that does it for this video, guys. The next video we'll be looking at is the hero phase of a turn. This is when you will activate your heroes according to how you place the initiative tokens in the upkeep phase. Within the hero phase, you'll be moving your heroes throughout the dungeon to complete quests, attempt to slay monsters, search out treasure chests within the dungeon, mine and craft power gems, smash open crates, attempt to discover secret rooms, send the hero's fetch hound Albus to the village, and much more. I want to thank you for your time and interest in Dungeon Crusade and all of your nice comments. Like I've said, it's always nice to chat with you, to see what you're up to, and discuss more about the game. The weekend is upon us, so I'll be working on the videos full time now, so I'll be working briskly to get back here with you to go over more of the game. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll be talking to you very soon. Bye-bye.